It was a typically hotly contested game between two of hockey's superpowers.
Down low, score! One-timer by Nail Yakupov.
Team Russia will need more moments of brilliance from their star.
Score! Hamilton shot from the line.
Or Team Canada will leave Yaroslavl with a 2-0 lead. Game 2 of the Russia-Canada Challenge Series is next.
40 years ago, September 2nd, 1972, the first game of the Summit Series, Canada was stunned in a 7-3 loss. Valerie Harlamoff, 2 goals, including the game winner in that one. It was Dryden versus Tretiak. Yesterday, a different story. Today, Game 2 of the Canada-Russia Challenge. Hello, Canada, and welcome. I'm John Bartlett alongside Craig Button, as we'll be joined shortly by Dennis Bayak, Mike Johnson, and Mark Masters. Yes, a completely different game yesterday in the first game of this series. Canada jumped out to a lead in the second period, but then had to stave off a Russian attack late in the third. But Craig, you have to attribute the defense of Canada yesterday in their play, not only how they played defensively, but how they helped out the offense moving the puck.
Yeah, no question. The 2012 draft was defined by defensemen, and this Team Canada is going to be defined by 5 first-round picks in the 2012 draft. Morgan Rielly, I mean, that's a subtle play, but a really key play that allows Monahan to step in. And there's the poise now of Morgan Rielly. Beats the pressure and then quickly up to Scheifele for a breakaway, being able to transition quickly. Harrington jumping into the attack, reading the play. Dougie Hamilton, a returnee from last year's World Junior team, just showing off a little bit of his skill. And then defensively, Matt Dumba quickly, he can close the play. And what Steve Spott wants is he wants the players to play quick on offense and to be really quick on defense. And when you can transition quickly and not lollygag up there, you know, you're not going to allow the other team to get into a defensive posture, which is really key for a team to be able to create offense.
Well, no doubt that the blue line is a definite strong point for this team, and that's exactly what head coach Steve Spott spoke about.
Well, I think, we've been honest from day one. We think the strength of this group is definitely on our back end, and there's probably 6 other young men back in Canada that could have been here with us right now. So we've got a wealth of talent of defensemen in Canada right now, which is great. Obviously, you look at a couple of kids in our lineup last night, and when the National Hockey League does commence, there's a good chance some of them could still be there.
All right, with a scene set for Game 2 and a look at some lineup changes for Canada, let's head to Yaroslavl with Mark Masters.
Thanks, John. Well, despite winning Game 1 of this series, Canadian head coach Steve Spott will be shuffling his lines tonight. Ryan Murray, Matthew Dumba, Boone Jenner, and Jonathan Huberdeau will all sit. This is, after all, an evaluation process, and the Canadian staff needs to be able to see who steps up when some of the bigger names are not on the ice. Now, in goal, Canada will be turning to Maxime Lagacé. He was passed over in the last 2 NHL drafts, but recently signed a contract with the Dallas Stars, and now here he is, starting for the national junior team. The Russians will counter with Andrei Makarov, and that is the only lineup change the home team is expected to make. Now, the Canadians did not escape Game 1 of the series completely healthy. Defenseman Griffin Reinhart took a hit, suffered an upper body injury, and will be held out tonight. He is considered day-to-day. Guys?
All right, thank you very much. Well, Charles Hudon was one of the stars for Team Canada yesterday, and head coach Steve Spott certainly likes his all-round game, his offensive instincts, and the way he plays on both sides of the puck.
Yeah, Charles was the leading scorer at the Ivan Alinka last year, coached by Steve Spott. But you hear the term opportunist, and that certainly applies to Charles Hudon. But to be an opportunist, you have to be really smart. You have to be really alert. And Charles Hudon, don't underestimate his competitiveness, but this is just an example of that opportunity. But being in good position, being smart, being able to recognize the play, that's what Charles Hudon does. Steve Spott's not hesitant to use him in any situation. And when you hear coaches talk about trusting a player, I don't know if there's a greater compliment. And for Charles Hudon, he has got the trust of his head coach, Steve Spott.
Well, will it be a sweep or a split in Russia? Game 2 from Yaroslavl coming up next. When we return, it's the Canada-Russia Challenge on TSN. Yaroslavl, Russia, host of Game 2 of the Canada-Russia Challenge. As Canada looks for the sweep, Russia looks to even the series 1-1, bringing it back to Halifax for Game 3, which will be on Monday. But Canada will be without one of their players in this game due to an injury, and that is Griffin Reinhart, the first-round pick of the New York Islanders, who has banged up his shoulder a bit, it appears.
Yeah, and it happened during Game 1. And one of the benefits of having 2 extra skaters to be dressed in international hockey is that when you do get an injury like that to a defenseman, you don't fall down to 5. And, you see the play here. Here's Griffin Reinhart right there. And one of the things Steve Spott referenced after the game was how big and strong the Russian forwards were. And I think that, again, this is another advantage for Canada, going over there and just seeing, kind of that man strength, some of those big guys that they're going to be faced against in the World Junior Tournament, how quickly they get on you and how big they are when they do get on you. But again, when you have those extra skaters, you don't go down to 5, you only go down to 6. And in a short tournament, that's a real luxury to a team, because you fall down to 5, it really becomes taxing in a short tournament on the defenseman.
Well, looking ahead to the game today, of course, Russia trying to get the split here, but Steve Spott talked a bit about Russia and the team itself, what they learned from that team. And again, he says we're going to have to match up being the better team, not necessarily one-on-one in the skill department. So what is the key in today's game for Canada?
Well, I think for them, you have to be able to match their intensity. I mean, the Russians are not hesitant to get involved physically and to lean on you and everything. So, the game to be played along the boards, I mean, it's been a hallmark of Canadian hockey. But for Team Canada now, they have to get comfortable playing there. You don't want to stay on the boards, though. You want to be able to attack into the middle of the ice. It's nice to hold the puck on the bigger ice outside. It looks nice, but it's not very effective. So I think Canada, what Steve Spott really would like to see from his group is more penetration below the circles and then attacking to the net, because he did say that the Russian forwards were quickly and on top of the Canadian defensemen. So it's going to become a 3-on-3 game down low.
Well, yesterday was Malcolm Subban that had to keep a very good composed part in the goal crease for Canada. Today it's Maxim Legacy, who his coach and PEI Gordie Dwyer said is also very composed in the crease and technically sound. We'll see how he does as we take you now to Dennis Bayak and Mike Johnson.
Thanks, guys. Game 2 of this Canada-Russia challenge as we take a look at Maxim Legacy. Mike, as he gets ready to start his first game of this little bit challenge, and certainly not as much experience perhaps as the other 2 netminders on the Canada roster. We'll see how he reacts to the pressure of this game.
It's a big moment. He had a chance to watch the first game, maybe settle any nerves that might be there. The team won. He's a little bit more comfortable. He's well rested, and he realizes that if he wants to play again potentially, or get back into the lineup potentially back in Canada where he plays in PEI, he needs to play well tonight, and they'll need a good game. Russia really pushed into the third period when they try to get that tie, so he'll have to play well tonight.
Andrei Makarov, as we talked about yesterday, does get the start for Russia today. Not a surprise. And when you go back to last year's World Junior Championship, he was key for Russia. And what a game he had in the final as we look at the officials. The same referees as yesterday. And Coach Steve Spott talked about that he was happy with the officiating crew from yesterday's game and thought they did a very good job.
Well, they did do a good job, and that's part of playing internationally. You're not sure exactly what you're going to get out of the refs. They didn't call any penalties that were dictated by the game or the crowd or the noise, the environment, and that's all you can hope for.
Grigorenko, Yakupov, along with Zlobin starting up front for Russia, and it's the energy line of Sutter, Leipzig, and Wilson starting for Canada. Some lineup changes for Canada. We'll talk about that in a minute as Coach Steve Spott feels not only he wants to look at some new faces as we get a stoppage and play quickly, but some adrenaline.
Adrenaline. He's got the right line starting. Did you see Leipzig trying to get into Yakupov's skates after the icing? Sutter goes in and takes a little bump on Sergeyev. Clearly this line is out there and they're trying to set the tone emotionally for Canada to get them this game, get them engaged into this game.
Well, sometimes when fatigue starts to be a factor, these guys have been on the ice every day. You've got travel, you've got time change, and everything that comes along with it. Wilson at center, he'll take this in. Possible 2-on-1. Leipzig tries to go wide. He gets taken down by Nemekov. Back into the center ice area and right back into the Canadian zone where Harrington will hustle back into his own end. Canada getting goals from a couple of defensemen yesterday, Harrington and Hamilton. Hamilton's coming on a power play. It was the 2 quick goals, a minute 49 apart early in the second, that broke goose eggs as far as yesterday's game was concerned. Nesterov shovels this up the boards and Team Canada will have to hustle back. Early going of game 2, and the Russians now trying to get physical here in the early going of this game. Tyrati sends it cross ice, slap shot by Ryan Murphy, and a save on the short side. Murphy gets it back, looks to Pelech, puts it to the front of the net. Traffic there, and DiGiuseppe couldn't get a stick on it as he makes his first appearance in this series, as does young Murphy.
And you see what Ryan Murphy could do, jumping up on the rush, getting a shot on net. Good vision from the blue line, putting that puck right to DiGiuseppe.
Shifley waiting for it in the high slot. It comes through the crease. Murphy jumps down low. Murphy works it into the slot, still has it. Murphy cross ice, in tight. Shifley couldn't get a handle on it. It was off the heel of his stick. What a play by Murphy. What a first shift by Ryan Murphy. And now in behind the play whistle down.
And that is something that Steve Spott has seen many times, coaching Ryan Murphy in Kitchener and putting on a little clinic in the offensive zone. And he knows he has to let Ryan Murphy go. He can't try to turn him into a stay-at-home guy, a guy who's not willing to take any chances. That's not how Ryan Murphy plays. That's not when he's at his best. He's got to be active like he just was in the offensive zone.
Ryan Murphy saw some action with Carolina in preseason last year as the pass goes off his stick up and out of play, as we take a look at Mikhail Varnikov, the coach of the Russian squad.
And he would have been pleased with the way his team ended last game, especially in the third period. They started attacking, turning pucks over, getting pucks to the net. They're just looking to do that for 3 periods in tonight's game.
Right off the faceoff, offside called as Lucas Lesio carries it in.
And you can hear the crowd, and guys are getting a little tired. Travel, fatigue, all that, but the atmosphere in the building is enough to energize both teams and should push these young guys to having another good game.
Canada took the early too many men on the ice penalty yesterday. There's a slap shot from the high slot. That gets blocked before it gets to the net. Steve Spott saying his team came out hungry, and the Russians came out hungry yesterday as well. And after a feeling out period in the opening 20 minutes, ended up a very good hockey game yesterday. Canada, of course, winning by that 3-2 margin. Maxime Legacy saw lots of action with PEI last year. He was 4th in the queue in saves and shots on goal. No score in the early going. Starting the attack is Cody Ceci. Out to center. Some contact there at center ice as the Russian squad appears a little more physical today, especially off the get-go, than what they were yesterday. Murphy starts the attack. Fired in short side by Udon, and a glove save, and now the emotions running a little higher today than maybe what they were at the start yesterday.
And Udon took a stick right in the chops there, and the Russians will be fortunate to escape this scrum without a penalty. But Steve Spott made it very clear. The Russians, they're big, they're strong, they're just as fast and as talented as Canada, so to think you can impose your will is not going to be the case, as Romantsev comes up on Udon, gets his stick right into his chin, and could have very easily been a roughing or high stick there.
So Grigorenko's line comes back out, and from a Canadian standpoint, that means the Luke Sutter line comes right back out. Trying to clear it around the boards was Sergeyev. He got stopped on the play. Grigorenko follows up, shovels it ahead. Slobin looking for that lead pass that never get to him, and back into the Russian zone, and offside called, and now we've got Nemekov added with Leipzig in the corner as some words get exchanged.
If you play any team at any level, potentially 4 games in a row, you're going to start disliking them pretty quickly, and that's happening early on in game number 2.
Games 3 and 4, of course, in Halifax Monday and Tuesday. Grigorenko forced wide by Morgan Riley. A couple of great plays by Riley yesterday. The one to spring Mark Shifley on the breakaway. A great play by the young defenseman out of Moose Jaw, who missed most of last year because of injury. In the corner, Kevin Waugh seeing his first action. Drops for Leipzig. Leipzig gets it back down low. Play whistle down, and the game's first penalty is about to be called.
I think it's going to be a trip to Russia on the cycle, and this is what the patient offensive game that C-Spot wants to see can do. If you can't break them down and get to the net, which is ideal, if you have the puck in the offensive zone long enough, you will draw penalties. Nomenkov gets caught reaching in with a stick, trips up a player. Now you have to make the Russians pay on the power play.
Canada 2 for 5 on the power play yesterday with a total of 7 power play shots in those 5 opportunities. Murphy, he'll send this cross ice as the Canadian power play gets set up. Dougie Hamilton plays a little give and go to the side of the net, open on the near side, but that pass doesn't get through. Sean Monahan, who opened the scoring in yesterday's game, was wide open, but that cross ice pass never did get to him. Back down low as they try that play one more time.
Mark Scheifele, he's got to take that puck with the intent of scoring a goal, not softly to the front of the net looking for a pass. If you take it hard to the net, that will set up the pass the next time. He's got to be more assertive on the goal line.
Strome for Murphy. Tries to get it back to Strome, who was headed to the front of the Russian goal. Monahan gives chase in behind the net, but it is grabbed off by Padan. And he'll send this back into the Canadian zone. And Dougie Hamilton, who had the power play goal yesterday that turned out to be the game winner, will go back and set it up for Canada. Through center ice with some speed, putting on the brakes is Waugh. Led the USHL in scoring last year with Lincoln. There's a shot to that top corner and a quick release by Shinkaruk, and that is cleared.
Never a bad decision. You got a little traffic in front, take a couple steps off the half wall, and you see that nice release from Shinkaruk. Got up in a hurry.
Slammed in by Xavier Ouellet. After it, Osipov for Russia. He gets tied up. Canada in on the forecheck, and up with it is Kevin Watt to the line to Ouellet. Slap shot just missed. Makarov watches that come off the backboards. To the far side it goes, but kept in by Canada. Osipov tries to clear, and on a second opportunity will, and that will do it for the Canadian power play as Legacy stops in behind his own net, and Nemekov comes out of the penalty box. To center. Slowly on the puck is Harrington. Plays it back into his own end. Harrington wearing the C on the jersey today that Ryan Murray wore yesterday. Murray not in today's lineup. Tyratty's on the loose puck. Tyratty with Deneau into the high slot. Waiting for it at the line was Morgan Riley, and an opportunity for a shot that never came. Grigorenko in on Legacy, and Legacy makes his first good save of the hockey game. No score here in the opening period. Game 2, Canada-Russia challenge. Shot from the point, save made by Legacy off the far side boards. Canada turning it back in. It's in deep. Wilson goes in after it. Wilson looking for a hit. And Artem Sergeyev realized Wilson was coming in, elects to let him kind of take control of the puck. Wilson in the high slot trying to get that shot through, could not. And it's sent into the center ice area, but right back in. And Wilson back on his horse. And one more time in on the forecheck. Nemekov for Russia snaps this up the middle. A pass misses everyone. Canada trying to regroup, cannot. Harrington, rather Ouellet on that far side with the steal. And he'll play it behind his own net for Harrington. For Hamilton, Dougie Hamilton. Right side for Wilson. Wilson shovels this in. Canada once again in on the forecheck with Lesio. Lesio works it to the front of the net, and Makarov with the poke check as Lesio tried to get it to the forehand. Dougie Hamilton, nice move, and a right pad save by Makarov. Hamilton on the loose puck, plays it behind the net. Some pressure now by Canada. Shinkaruk tries to work it free, and Shinkaruk is going to pick up a hooking penalty. Proharkin plays it in behind his own net. Makarov to the bench for the extra attacker. And Russia on the delayed call to Canada. Proharkin cuts in on that left side, tried to work it through. He gets stopped inside the line, and now as Strome touches the puck, play is whistled down, and Hunter Shinkaruk will head to the penalty box.
And that's another offensive zone penalty. They took a couple in game 1, did Canada. They take another one there. After a pretty good offensive sequence with Lesio walking off the wall, attacking the net, Dougie Hamilton dancing around the blue line, but Shinkaruk just a little careless with his stick, gets it up in the hands, in behind the goal line.
Sigarev to take the face-off in for Russia, but the Canadians win the draw. And this is off the glass and down the ice. Udon, who drew the praise of Coach Steve Spott for his performance yesterday, goes in on the forecheck and then in the neutral zone steals the puck. Little contact there between Udon and Shalunov. As it's cleared back into the Russian zone, gets caught up on the net. Does get knocked free, and play will continue. Sigarev drops it back into his own end. Kadan will leave it, and it's taken by Alexei Vasilevsky. For Sigarev. Off the backboards for Riley. Lots of time for Morgan Riley, and he'll calmly take a look up ice and see an opening and send the Russians all the way back. Vasilevsky for Nemechov and back for Vasilevsky. Yakupov through the middle. Grigorenko has the puck, and Grigorenko gets dumped. And the crowd looking for another call against Canada. Canada faced a situation yesterday where they were down 2 men, and Nail Yakupov capitalized with a power play goal. Nemechov for Grigorenko through the center ice area. That's as far as it gets. And right back where Makarov will have to play it, as in on the forecheck was Luke Sutter.
Russia's got to start moving their feet to support the puck. The one-on-one play will not work against Canada.
Here comes Yakupov, dishes off. Taken by Ouellette. Clears it up the dasher board, kept in at the left point by Nemechov. For Zlobin. Zlobin watched by Pelech. Power play with a dozen seconds to go, kept in at the right point by Sergeyev. Now back for Nemechov. That shot gets blocked as Scheifele blocked it. And the power play has come to an end. So as Zlobin lets that long shot go wide, each team now 0 for 1 with the man advantage as this game looks for its first goal. Midway through the opening period, Shinkaruk heads to the bench as he sends this one deep into the Russian end of the ice. Scheifele goes after it. Scheifele gets it away from Osipov for Ty Rattie. Rattie out of the Portland Winterhawk organization for Ryan Murphy, who jumps in from that right point. Scheifele waits for it. Rattie looks to the corner and they start the cycle. Rattie gets jammed up by Diakov. Diakov goes down. Romantsev is up with the puck as the Russians start back with Kachev. With Romantsev, quick shot, that's off a stick and up and out of play. We'll get a stoppage and again a little extracurricular activity after the whistle.
And Kachev again with that speed through the neutral zone, able to push the Canadian defenseman off the blue line, allowing himself to get the middle of the ice. And once you get the middle, then offensive plays open up. He makes a drop pass for the opportunity. But Kachev caught our eye yesterday with his speed.
Youngster from the Ukraine, played junior in Kazan. Hamilton for Pelech, up for Kevin Waugh. Flips this to center off that dasher board, making sure it was out of the Canadian end of the ice. Kapustin trying to gather some speed through the neutral zone, gets ridden to the near side boards as Waugh was on him, as was Dougie Hamilton. And Legacy will play it around the boards, kept in but only briefly, and Hamilton, nice lead pass for Strome, drops for Kevin Waugh. Kevin Waugh trying to get it back to Stroman a couple of times, Mike, in this game, and
we can hear it from here. Shoot the puck.
Yes.
Don't look for that pretty play. Kevin Waugh just getting his feet wet first game. He's got to have a shooter's mentality, drift that one hard on the net and look for rebounds.
54 goals for Kevin Waugh last year in the USHL.
It's not like he can't shoot. You put up 50 in any league, you still have to shoot it past the goalies, and he did that leading the USHL in scoring last year. And Steve Spott was animated, to say the least, during the last commercial break about getting pucks to the net, not turning it over, harder on that puck in the danger areas, making sure not to give Russia any transition opportunities.
Maxim Legacy in goal for Canada. Ryan Murphy. Quick pass for Cody Ceci. Ottawa draft pick. In fact, an Ottawa trifecta for Cody Ceci from Ottawa. Plays junior in Ottawa and selected by the Ottawa Senators. Ryan Murphy tries to get this back, and Cody Ceci with a bomb from the line, as Steve Spott called it. Udon across the line with Deneau.
He pulls up, puts on the brakes against the checking of Vasilevsky. Shot from the line, steered away. Makarov in goal for Russia today. Dangerous pass, but Vasilevsky jumps on it. To center ice, Shalunov had it, lost it, and the Canadians will carry back. After a puck is Sean Monahan. In the slot, Udon. As that pass did not get through, a pile up in behind the play. Shalunov going wide on Ryan Murphy, and we're going to have some penalties as a result of that pile up in behind the play. Looks like a Canadian power play when we come back. Power play for Canada. Roughing penalty was Vasilevsky, I think, in behind the play. Padan, who is in the penalty box. So Canada with its second power play opportunity of the hockey game. Strome sends it for Scheifele. Back for Strome, the Islander pick. For Dougie Hamilton. For Ryan Murphy. 5 right-handed shots out there for Canada on this power play. Ratty to the goal line. Scheifele on the backhand. Tries to jam it. Scheifele with an A on his jersey in this game. Murphy for Ratty. Quick shot right on. Ty Ratty can really get that puck away quickly. Murphy being watched by Kachev. For Ratty. 5 deep in the Russian zone. And now Hamilton backtracks to just inside the line. Spin around as he gets it to Ryan Murphy. Murphy back for Hamilton. He'll let it go. Strome winds up, drills that, and that goes off a leg and wide. Karam's all the way back up to center, and Hamilton will backtrack.
Good possession from Canada. Timing still a little bit off when they're going to elect to shoot and when they're going to look to pass. Got to time the shots with a net front presence. They did it once with Ty Ratty and Scheifele and got a good chance out of it.
How different is the setup with 5 right-handed shots? Back to the line it comes for Ryan Murphy. The blast, that was stopped by the right pad of Makarov. To the line, Murphy will hold this in. Down low in front, Hamilton joining the attack. Scheifele tried to get it to him and the puck bounced off the stick of Scheifele. Big hit by Scheifele on the far side, and Scheifele is going to get penalized for it.
A little action around the bench, and it was Scheifele coming in late. Almost getting a bit of a clip on one of the Russian defenders, and a little retaliation by Russia. Looks like it's going to even things up. And that's exactly the kind of discipline both coaches will be talking about. Russia will have gotten through that penalty kill, could have gone on the power play, looking to start their game, but trying to support their teammate who is still down on the ice. Kapustin down there. And he got clipped a little low, a little on his knees, and he's hobbling off the bench and trying to make amends for that. It looks like Yarulin takes a penalty.
So offsetting minors.
Could be a knee, it could be a clip, could be a trip on Scheifele. The door's still open, which implies it might be more than just a 2. As it looked like one of the linesmen might have just motioned that it might be a 2 and a 10 because you have to go to the dressing room. Here you see the hit, he comes in. Comes in, that left leg, tough to tell from that angle, but it's definitely a bit of a knee-on-knee, and Scheifele is done at the very least for the period as he's heading off the ice. If he's gone for the game, that'll be a big loss as he's wearing the A. He's been good, and that reaction tells me he might be.
Canada does have 13 forwards dressed.
All part of the experience about being over here.
Yes.
The refereeing is different. Some of the calls are different. The crowd gets involved. You cannot lose your composure. Although Mark Scheifele might be lost for the game, this is the kind of building experience that they come over to play these 4 games for, to prepare for the World Juniors, where if this happens, the same group might be able to draw on this and realize that the kill is what's most important and not complaining to the referees.
5 and a game for kneeing is what the call on Scheifele is. So the reaction we saw from Scheifele as he left the ice,
He's done
correct
for the night. International hockey, they are much stiffer with game misconducts, whether it's for boarding, hitting from behind, kneeing, elbowing to any headshot whatsoever. It is not uncommon to see infractions that might garner a 2-minute minor in North America be 5 in a game. This is not that shocking of a call internationally. Canada doesn't like it. Steve Spott doesn't like it. But this is very much on par with other calls you'd see in the national game.
And players very much more aware of that now with all the travel that is done. You have the under-17s, the under-18s, so they are more aware of what goes on.
And if they're not aware, they're reminded. The coaches tell them before every game, every practice, every day, they remind them, these are the things you're going to get kicked out for. You can't do that, and Mark Scheifele did.
Arena 2000 in Yaroslavl. Canada and Russia, game 2 of the challenge. As Wilson heads to the penalty box, so Yarulin gets 2, Scheifele gets 5. In a scoreless hockey game. Leipzig lets the quick wrist shot go to the short side. Rebound caroms to the corner, and it's grabbed off by Yakupov, and he'll play it behind his own net. Nemenkov takes the return pass from Zlobin, up for Grigorenko, he'll deflect it in. Legacy, who will get a little more shots, a few more shots than what he has been getting so far in this game when the Russians head to that 3-minute power play. Grigorenko will play it back as they try to regroup. Skating it is Nestorov, and he can do it, but his lead pass, nice defensive read. And Nestorov will have to go back and set this all up again.
4-on-4 hockey, it's all about being close to the puck carrier, supporting it, breaking down the defender that way, not stretching things out.
Yakupov trying to get around Ryan Murphy to the back post and just beyond the reach of Grigorenko. Yakupov in front, Grigorenko, big save. What a play by Yakupov. And Legacy with his best save of the night. Ty Ratty straight up the ice, pulls up. Ryan Strome with them up front. Ryan Murphy joins the attack. Murphy forced wide by Nestorov. Murphy to the front of the net, and Ratty couldn't get enough on it to redirect it into the open side. Canada with some 4-on-4 pressure. Strome for Ratty. Ratty tries a little 1-on-1. To the line, kept in. Ceci in front, Strome, what an opportunity for him. And he missed the corner low glove on Makarov. And now the Russians go to the power play. Great shift for Canada.
Ryan Murphy makes life miserable 4-on-4 for the Russian defenders.
Kozov leads the power play, turns it over though, and it's cleared to center ice. Right back in, Osipov plays it rink wide. Osipov waits for it from Diakov, but Diakov goes up the boards. Back for Diakov. Again fakes the pass to Osipov. Now Osipov has it. Walks in, fires through traffic, blocked in front and cleared down the ice by Xavier Ouellette.
Love that little dummy play, a soccer term, from Diakov. Let the puck go through his feet, getting it over to Osipov, who got the wrister away. That's a good awareness of the angle of the puck, letting it go through, knowing it won't go offside, and you have the guy behind you to support you.
Artem Sergeyev signed a free agent contract with Tampa. In fact, there's 3 players off this Russian team that belong to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Battle for the puck on the far side, comes loose, and Legacy makes a good save on the wrist shot on the power play, and now Slepyshev gets dumped in front of the net. A good drive there by Prohorkin.
Good save by Maxim Legacy. Canada's got to be careful here with these extra little shots. You see Sutter coming in, poking the back of the legs out, little jabs in the chest. They were hurt last game by a 5-on-3. They know the referees will not hesitate to call it if they deem it warranted. Maintaining their discipline is key.
Coach Spott wants them to play physical, but don't cross that line. And you touched on it earlier, European officiating, that line sometimes you don't really know where it is. Kachev off the far side boards. He'll send this down low. Slepyshev is in front. looking for a loose puck that doesn't get to him as it ricochets to the corner. Sergeyev couldn't get a stick on it, and it's cleared.
Another smart play by Charles Hudon on the boards. Didn't even touch the puck, but sealed off the Russian forechecker, allowing the clear to be made. Just good body positioning, using that smaller frame to get the clear.
Yakupov through the neutral zone. The Canadians quickly converge on him. Luke Sutter takes the puck away, gets it out the center. Sutter tries a pass looking for Leipzig. It was just in behind him, or Leipzig with that speed might have found a lane to the net. Under a minute left to go in the major penalty to Mark Scheifele for kneeing. Cross ice feed Slobin. That's off the side of the net and wide. Slobin and Legacy would have seen each other. Shot from the line. Slobin thought that was in. The Russians think that was in. Play goes on.
Nesterov and Yarulin are celebrating. And finally Nesterov had to shrug him off, say, I guess we're still playing. That one might not have gone in.
They're going to have to take a look at that one. Picked up by Ouellette. Cleared all the way down the ice, and we'll see whether this time is going to rewind or not. Leaving behind the net, left there by Yarulin for Shalunov. Shalunov tried to dangle his way around Ryan Murphy. Power play is about to expire, and as of right now anyway, this game is scoreless. So the power play over. Canada, we think, has killed it off. Hudon looking for Wilson beyond his reach. Cleared to center. Ryan Murphy steals and comes back in. Then Ryan Murphy gets bumped there by Diakov. Osipov plays it back for Diakov. Up the boards. Sigarov gets it to center. Murphy breaks it up and sends it back as Canada will start a change. Dying seconds of the opening period. Russians felt they had scored, and maybe a high sticking penalty coming up here as Sigarev goes down.
Penalty coming up, but before the penalty, they will have to review the shot from the point. And, or at the very least, convene to make sure that they got the call correctly on the ice. And here he comes into the box, taking a look. And if it is a goal, they'll have to rewind the clock, put the Canadian back in the box because it's a 5-minute penalty. Tom Wilson won't go out, and this most recent penalty will be wiped away.
No goal.
No goal. So play stands, power play for Russia.
Slobin in front started the celebration. He thought it was in. And then his teammates started the celebration.
And the crowd right now seeing it on the Jumbotron and disagreeing with the call on the ice.
Proharkin, the draft pick of Los Angeles, out to take the face-off against Deneau. Dying seconds of the opening period, cleared off the boards and down the ice. And that will do it for the opening 20 minutes in Yaroslavl. And just as we were scoreless after one period yesterday, we are scoreless after one period today as we send you back to John Bartlett and Craig Button.
Well, thank you very much, Dennis, and some entertaining excitement in period number one. We'll find out more about the Canadian coach when we return. Well, Canada outshoots Russia 8-5 in the opening period, but neither team finds the back of the net after 20 minutes of playing Game 2 in the Canada-Russia Challenge. And welcome back to the first intermission here on TSN. Well, Canada's head coach Steve Spott is the general manager and head coach of the Ontario Hockey League's Kitchener Rangers. But when you look back to his history with the Rangers, he was an assistant coach in Kitchener in the 2003 Memorial Cup victory and an assistant coach when they made the final again in 2008 under head coach Peter DeBoer, who he says is a big role model.
Steve Spott, head coach of Canada's National World Junior Team.
Good pace start now, boys. Good pace start now. Let's call for pucks. Let's be sharp.
But I grew up with Pete DeBoer, starting in Plymouth Whalers organization and then through Kitchener. And I think anybody that knows Pete knows how firm he is. And you know, I think I'm a little bit of a hybrid of Pete DeBoer and Steve Spott, which is being firm but fair at the same time.
Go again, go again, go again!
If you're going to be involved in a program like our World Junior, you have to be demanding, and you have to demand that all of the kids are on the same page and are willing to buy into a team-first concept.
Though he's already experienced success with Hockey Canada, Spott now has the pressure of adding his name to the list of elite coaches that have guided Canada's national junior team.
I've spoken with pretty much all of the head coaches from the last few teams, and all of them have been willing to share information, things that they liked, what they did, things that they might do differently a second time. I think the moment that stands out for me as a head coach probably was last year in August at the under-18. We lost to the Swedes early in the round robin 5-1 and had an opportunity to redeem ourselves in the final against a very strong Swedish team. So I think winning gold last year was probably my most proud moment as a head coach.
Let's go to work here, let's go to work, let's go!
You couldn't ask for a better evaluation because of the fact that we're not worried about their handicaps or how well they putt a golf ball. It's going to be meaningful hockey games and seeing how they react under pressure. To have this opportunity in Russia is great personally, but I think the bigger picture here is for my country, and I don't take that lightly.
And of course, Hockey Canada hoping come December with their head coach they've hit the right spot. Highlights coming up when we return. Well, the Pelicans Subban families have a couple of things in common. Both families with 3 sons, elite players. Big connection to the Belleville Bulls for both families as well in the Ontario Hockey League. And how about this one? Both parents and both families never played hockey. Let's head to Mark Masters now, who's joined with a member of a big hockey family, Lucas Sutter.
Lucas, Coach Spott said your line would be tough to play against, and sure enough, you drew a penalty there. What did you do to get Pedden so upset at you?
I just play the game hard, and obviously some guys don't like that, and you take a few shots when you play that way.
Intensity picking up tonight in this game?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anytime you get a rivalry like this, there's going to be some battles and some heat, and it's good to see.
You guys lose Scheifele. How do you make up for that?
Everyone's just got to pick up his slack. I mean, that's what being a team's all about. One guy goes down, everyone gets on, and carries on.
Thanks, Lucas. Good luck in the second.
Thank you.
Well, a scoreless first period, although some of the Russians thought they might have had a goal in period number 1 there. Not quite sure why. Maxim Legacy has been outstanding in net so far for Team Canada in this game. And like we talked about off the top of the broadcast, his head coach for the PEI Rocket, Gordy Dwyer, said he's technically sound, he's composed in the crease, and controls his rebounds well. And Craig, we saw that from Maxim Legacy in the first period, including on the screenshot that somehow the Russians thought went in the net.
Well, they even stopped playing for a little stretch of time to even potentially celebrate. But clearly this puck didn't go in. Maybe they thought that it did. They saw something. But you see Nesterov right here shooting the puck. Very clearly comes right off of Legacy's shoulder and right out in front. You can see Nesterov right there. He's got his arms up, the stick up. He's ready to celebrate. Maybe they thought that they could trick them a little bit, maybe the officials, but they weren't going to be fooled on that one.
Especially when that little celebration went back up the ice and nearly caused an opportunity for Canada. It is scoreless after 20 minutes of play in Game 2 from Yaroslavl. The Canada-Russia Challenge comes to the Metro Center in Halifax. Tickets still available for both games on Monday and Tuesday. Go to hockeycanada.ca for ticket information. Second period action we go now. Here's Dennis Bayak and Mike Johnson.
Scoreless after 1 period. 8-5 the shots in favor of Canada, and Mark Scheifele, who led Canada in shots on goal yesterday with 5, done for the day after the kneeing major and the game misconduct.
That
Canada
is the story out of the first
yes.
period, with Mark Scheifele getting knocked out of the game with a game misconduct. Fortunately, they do carry 13 forwards. The 4-line rotation will continue, but discipline has been a point of emphasis for Steve Spott. More penalty trouble for Canada in the first, and they start the second shorthanded as well.
Ryan Strome in the penalty box for high sticking, so there's a lead pass, there's a chance, and a Legacy scores! A quick lead pass, and early in the second period, the game has its first goal.
Russian player just gets caught in behind the Canadian defenseman in Slobin. And he sells backhand, forehand. Legacy gets caught standing still, open on the 5-hole, and the poke check of Morgan Riley almost knocks it off his stick through Legacy's legs, and that is exactly the start that Russia wanted to have, taking advantage of that fresh ice, a nice long stretch pass that Slobin can handle flat and clean and take in on the breakaway.
We touched on this in the opening period. Slobin and Legacy certainly would know each other from the queue. And nice move there by Slobin, and it is 1-0 Russia power play marker as they draw first blood in this game today. And again, the opening goal of the game coming early in the second period, just as it did yesterday. Sergeyev with the assist. There's a chance to the side of the net as Canada tries to respond quickly with a chance for Hunter Shinkaruk. And Makarov with the save there. Two guys from the Western Hockey League that would know each other.
Makarov getting tangled up, losing his stick. Actually lost sight of that puck as it came back underneath his pad. And almost finds a way to pair him in. Finally gets his blocker on it. But now will be the time for Canada to reestablish what they're trying to do. 5-on-5 offensive zone play. Patient offensive zone play along the boards.
Di Giuseppe after it on the far side, cleared out to center. Puck stolen, Russia back into the Canadian zone looking for more. Proharkin in front of the net trying to get a stick on that, could not. Curling out of the corner, Slepyshev drops it back, Hamatov back for Slepyshev. Keeping an eye on him on the far side is Sean Monahan. Russia with the 1-0 lead. Proharkin sends it to the front of the net. That was stopped. Shinkaruk after it into the Russian zone, bounced away from him, and Russia starts back. Proharkin, he is stopped at the line, and Ryan Strome will carry back. Strome with a little bit of room, dangles his way in. What a save by Makarov, but what a rush by Ryan Strome. There's a shot by Lesio. Makarov got a piece of that with his glove. There's a shot. Lesio trying to get a stick on that in front of the net, could not. Cleared to the line. Pelech steps in, holds it in, but only briefly, and then it does make its way out to center ice. Ty Ratty, quick shot right on. Save Makarov, and he hangs on.
Makarov getting busy as Ryan Strome put on a clinic one-on-one. Attacking the defense, actually almost a 1-on-2, and danced them both, got in alone, and Makarov with a nice save. That is the high-end offensive talent that Ryan Strome showed when he was 5th overall pick last year by the Islanders.
One of his assets is his skating ability, and we saw that there.
It's one thing to skate fast, it's entirely another to do it 1-on-2, dangling the puck like that, and that's what separates him.
Big Kozov, 6'3", 220 pounds. Trying to bust his way through, doesn't get through, but draws a penalty. And now Leipzig in the face of Kozov.
Well, one thing you say about Kozov is he's noticeable out there. He's a big guy, he gets involved physically, he runs a little bit at the Canadian defenders, and he draws a penalty there trying to get into the forecheck. And there you see Kapustin back on the bench. You can see that he obviously is feeling okay after that knee from Mark Scheifele. And it will be Adam Pelech heading off for interference.
Fourth power play of the hockey game for Russia. They are 1 for 3 coming into this opportunity. Canada another face-off win. Canada winning 11 of 16 face-offs in that opening period. 1-0 in favor of Russia in game 2 of this challenge. Slobin, the goal scorer in this game, sends it around the board. Slobin almost gets it back in the high slot. Off the sideboards it comes. Good recovery there by Ouellette after he had lost his balance in the high slot. Xavier Ouellette giving chase against Yakupov. A little more jump in Yakupov's game today than perhaps yesterday. Sergeyev to the backside, and that's off a skate and almost found the net blocker side on Legacy.
Sergeyev looking for the Sedin shot and tip, and he had two options, both Yakupov and now Menkov, and he chose the wrong one because he put on the defenseman's stick who tipped it over the net. Well, he wants to try to find Yakupov's stick with that.
Nemenkov Deflected at center. Slepyshev is after it. Stopped as it bounces onto the stick of Ryan Murphy. Down the ice it goes, and in there first is Sean Monahan, the 17-year-old out of Ottawa, who is rated very high as far as this next summer's draft is concerned, and what Craig Button tells us is a very good draft. At the right point, kept in and sent in deep. Russia on the power play. Nesterov in for Proharkin. To the goal line it goes. Back to the line. Cross ice, slap shot, rebound, score! Kapustin, who was shaken up earlier in the game, buries a rebound, 2-0 Russia.
A well-designed offensive play. Russia finally recognizing the pressure Canada's putting on their player on the half on the power play. And it was Kapustin who does the bypass back to the point, past the half-wall guy, and that's what sets up the one-timer and crash to the net. And then he jumps on the rebound as they outnumber Ryan Murphy and Legacy in front of the net. But it was the bypass past the half-wall man, straight out to the point, setting up the one-timer, and then not sitting on the goal line, but getting to the front and grabbing the rebound. And Steve Spott has seen enough, wants to slow things down, get his team back under control, calls his timeout, as discipline has been a problem in this game. 2 power play goals against has Canada down 2-0.
And Kapustin, one of the 3 players on the Russian team from Yaroslavl. So we saw the emotion from him.
Not much Maxim Legacy could do on that one. And you see Rulin getting teed up, Kapustin beating Ryan Murphy back to the front of the net. Corralling that rebound, sweeping the empty net. But Canada was so flooded down in the corner, they opened themselves up. If you're able to make that pass, you really have numbers back to the front, and that's what Russia got done.
Kapustin, one of the players that saw action last year with Yaroslavl in the VHL. After the terrible plane crash, they did not play in the KHL. They suspended play and then eventually did come back and play in the VHL, which is a lower division over in Russia. And then, of course, they will be back in the KHL this season.
Some prominent NHLers heading over there playing for Yaroslavl this year. Mark Flood from Winnipeg Jets, Sammy Lepisto, Curtis Sanford, amongst others.
And Canada with a BM decal on their helmets for Brad McCrimmon. Great star in the Western Hockey League, great NHLer. He was coach of that locomotive team that went in that plane crash. And Brad's dad, Byron, is in Yaroslavl for this 2-game series. In behind the net, Canada down 2-0. Ryan Strome sends this back to the line. Ryan Murphy jumps in from that defensive position, tries to gain control down low. He gets bodied. Hamatov trying to clear it up the left side boards. He got bumped on the play and cleared up, and Pelech on the back check now, but offside is called against Russia.
Rantsev has the difficult challenge of handling Ryan Murphy at the offensive blue line, and that's how you have to try to play Ryan Murphy. You can't let him find any loose ice. Stay close to him and then finish him into the boards when you can, because if you give him any space, he's faster than you and he's better with the puck than you, and he makes it very difficult as a winger to deal with him in the offensive zone.
And we welcome all those listening on TSN radio across Canada. Thanks for tuning in. Back into the Canadian zone, Ouellette gets taken to the corner boards. Sigarev is after him. Slow to get up is Kozov after he got tangled up there with Ouellette. Out to center and cleared back in. Nesterov gets knocked down, cross ice. Big bump there on the play. Canada now back. Odd man rush penalty coming up to Russia. Kicked away by Makarov. And now as this gets jammed away, play whistle down, and Canada will get a power play opportunity depending on what all happens before this gets totally sorted out.
And this whole sequence started because Kosov was injured down in the corner. He could not clear the zone, forcing the Russian defender to double clutch on the dump in. He turns it over, and then Everything else happens from there. Canada gets the strong rush to the net. Makarov with a nice kick save, and Padan finishes Wilson into the net pretty hard. Absolutely should be roughing or interference. Andre Padan, who plays over in Guelph, plays a physical game, has struggled to the first game and a half of this series dealing with the Canadian speed. And it looks like out of all that, it's going to be 4-on-4 as Canada, Luke Sutter takes one after the play was over. And we've said it a few times in this game, and Steve Spott is saying it even more often on the bench. Discipline, boys. Discipline. And that is cost them a power play opportunity.
Interference for Padan, roughing for Luke Sutter, and some 4-on-4, and Coach Mikhail Varnikov immediately sends out Grigorenko and Nail Yakupov. Nemenkov trying to get this down low, controlled, and finally cleared to center. Yakupov will go back. Nail Yakupov for Grigorenko. Grigorenko twisting and turning, trying to find a little bit of skating room there against Harrington. Harrington knocked it off his stick. Monahan carries back, 2-on-2. Monahan drops, Ratty scores! Ty Ratty goes low, short side. Canada capitalizes on the 4-on-4, and Ratty has Canada on the board.
It wasn't a perfectly constructed 3-on-2, but the puck ends up on the right guy's stick, and Ty Ratty shows you how to score a goal. Quick release in traffic, little drag to get it past the poke check of the defender, and then just rips it by Makarov, short side. You wonder how you score 57 goals in the WHL this year? Exactly like that. His release is at an NHL level. Best by far on the ice.
And then 19 goals and 33 points in 21 playoff games in that great Portland Winterhawk run last spring that ended with the Edmonton Oil Kings winning the WHL championship. So Ty Ratty making this a 2-1 game. Ryan Strome looking for a little bit of room. Strome puts it to the front of the net. Oh, an opportunity for Lesio. And Makarov may have got the right pad down, but some nice patience there by Ryan Strome. Nesterov chases it up the left side board. Slepyshev there as well, but Canada controls. In the slot, quick shot Lesio, and that goes off someone in front, up and out of play. 2-1 Russia here in the second. In ways, today's game, a replay of yesterday's game. No score in the opening period, and then some goals coming early in the second period, and that's the way we stand right now, 2-1 in favor of Russia. The difference yesterday was Canada that opened the scoring in the hockey game, and a goal by Sean Monahan. Monahan getting an assist. There's a shot. Armed save, as letting that one go quickly was Andrei Sigarev, and a good save there by Legacy.
And just like yesterday's game, a little bit of 4-on-4 hockey that seemed to open things up a little bit. You see Sigarev, high riser up on Legacy. Sigarev has shown some good form through the first couple games. Another player we don't know a whole lot about, but not a huge scorer in the VHL, that minor league from Russia, but he's been good.
Far east of Russia, in the same town that Alex McGillney grew up in.
Anything remotely close to Alex McGillney,
yes,
would be something pretty special. Centering the second line, maybe their checking line, but he's been noticeable. Skates well and shoots it well.
Yes, noticeable yesterday and noticeable again today as he is out with Kozov, who was shaken up earlier and is okay, and Romantsev, the other member of that forward line for Russia. So a couple of injuries for Russia, but they are both back in the game. Kapustin in the first period after a knee from, or at least in the opinion of the officials, and a bit of a knee there from Scheifele, and Scheifele tossed from the hockey game for it. So Canada with 12 forwards left. They started the game with 13. Hunter Shinkaruk trying to gather a puck in at center ice, can't. Sent in deep and tracking it down, Sergeyev. He'll get it to center ice no further, and it's flipped back in, and Andrei Makarov
out of the Saskatoon Blades will leave it. The attack back for Russia. Morgan Riley plays it for Harrington, wearing the C. Harrington will let it go to Philip DiGiuseppe. His pass is turned over, and Russia sending it back in. DiGiuseppe will track it down for Morgan Riley. Riley, a little stutter step, buys himself a little bit of time, and now as he can do so well, will skate it out. Averaged a point a game until the 18th game last year with Moose Jaw, when a knee injury forced him to miss the rest of the regular schedule.
The biggest concern for Morgan Riley is his skating back, and it appears through this game it certainly is.
Udon on the backhand puts it to the net. Makarov kicks it out. Played back down low. Canada trying to get the cycle going. Deneau getting worked over. Udon there as well. Deneau gets taken down as he ties up there with Nestorov. Good work there by Deneau. Leipzig now looking for a loose puck and comes up with it. Brendan Leipzig out of the Portland Winterhawk organization from Winnipeg tries to get it to the front of the net. Cleared away. Kept in at the blue line there, and a little bit of physical play from Cody Ceci. Chance down low. Udon trying to get that to his forehand. Can't. Big hit as Leipzig goes in hard, and is he going to get penalized for the hit? And now we've got maybe as close as we're going to come to a scrap.
I think that's Nesterov jumping on Leipzig. Leipzig, I think, was going to get the original penalty for that heavy hit. He might not like it. Again, international call. That will be a penalty. Almost hitting too hard, or the player potentially in a vulnerable spot. Nesterov didn't like it, went down. Decided he'd had enough of Leipzig and jumped on him and tried to exact some revenge.
In the CHL, it may be considered finishing your check.
Absolutely.
But in European hockey, it is considered a late hit, and Nesterov going back at Leipzig gets a bit of a right-hand shot there as they're
and if you're Leipzig, you knew you took a penalty. Even though it's a good hit, in your mind, it wasn't a particularly dirty hit. You're happy to take that little punch in the face to make sure your team doesn't go down short, and that is what the agitators are so good at. They may take one, but they draw as many as they probably take, if not more, the good ones, and that's what Leipzig is turning into.
Might be a little bit easier for Leipzig when he gets back to the bench after he serves the penalty with two players in the penalty box versus him being there by his lone.
Yeah, and there's different kinds of penalties. And that's a good, hard, physical forecheck. Pretty clean hit. He takes a penalty. That's the one you don't mind killing off as a team. It's the cheap ones, the little glove washes, the cheesy slashes that aren't going to hurt anybody. You're just doing it to try to be annoying, and you get caught. Those are the ones that don't go over so well.
It's 4-2 is what the call is. So Russia back to the power play for the 5th time in the hockey game.
I don't know how Leipzig gets a 2 for that. Nesterov jumps him, punches him in the face, and Leipzig just lies on the ground. I'm not sure how he gets a rough on that.
Osipov starts the power play with the lead pass. It is backhanded in by Prokharkin. Picked off and cleared all the way. Makarov will leave it as Russia goes back to set up the power play. Osipov and Diakov on the back end for Russia, deflected in by Slepyshev. Slepyshev to the corner boards along with Xavier Roulette. Canada up with it, and Sutter gets it out to center ice. Monahan goes after it. Sutter heads to the front of the net. Monahan puts it there, and Makarov the save, and now Diakov flattens Sutter in front of Makarov, teammates in the Western League with Saskatoon, and we'll see whether or not Diakov picks up a penalty or not. Doesn't appear so.
I think someone's getting something there, and it's going to be Diakov before the rough. He came in with the glove to the face of Sutter. Stops on the puck as he should, right in front of the net, looking for a rebound. Little poke there, nothing wrong with that. There's something wrong with that, and that will be called every time. And undisciplined penalty now by Russia. Wasted opportunity.
Yes, because it wasn't like Sutter was trying to dig the puck out of the midsection of Makarov. Grigorenko
Wide on Harrington. Nice play by Harrington. And Udon trying to find a little bit of room, and a good defensive play by Nemenkov on that far side to rub out Udon. Udon has the stick knocked out of his hands. Sergayev trying to get that shot through. It is blocked by Shinkarik. Taken by Nail Yakupov. Poke check there by Xavier Ouellet. Yakupov stays on it. Pass is blocked, and Harrington sends it ahead at center ice for Udon. In across the line with Shinkarik. Nice patience there by Udon into the slot, and that just got deflected away as Ryan Murphy was jumping in from the point. So 4-on-4 now before a brief power play for Canada on the back end, barring any more calls. Good work there by Hunter Shinkarik. He'll get the puck for Strome. Watched by Grigorenko as Ryan Murphy. Murphy tried the one-handed down low, could not. Grigorenko now chases the loose puck into the Canadian zone. And now a power play for Canada. Grigorenko to the front of the net, steered away by Dougie Hamilton and taken by Kevin Waugh.
On a goal the other way right now. You got Yakupov still on the ice. Been up there for a minute 15. And they're not going to be able to take advantage as they ice the puck.
There's Yakupov, the Edmonton pick, heading to the bench.
And you're thinking of 4-on-4, it might favor Russia, given they can throw out Yakupov and Grigorenko, but we saw Canada already score their only goal in a 4-on-4 situation. And every time they've been out there, Grigorenko and Yakupov have been caught cheating the offense, caught in deep, and giving up 3-on-2s the other way. So what you think might be advantage Russia, Canada is defending well and going the other way.
Games 3 and 4 in this challenge, back in Halifax Monday and Tuesday at the Metro Center. Kachev, nice little drag. Kachev stopped there by Legacy.
Oh,
wow.
How nice was that? That was quick through his legs and a good cut, and a big save by Legacy.
Kachev was a late addition. He was not on the initial roster for this Russian squad. But boy, he has been impressive in these two games. Bouncing puck. Osipov hustles back. Osipov turns it over. Center, high slot to the line. Quick shot off the backboards and wide. Monahan goes after it for Ratty. Ty Ratty watched by Osipov. Osipov and Ratty. Monahan there to help out. Plays this back to the line. Xavier Ouellet was waiting for it. Never did get to him. And Ryan Murphy back on the loose puck, has some trouble with it. Into the slot, quick shot there by Kozov as he got set up on a nice pass by Shalunov, but off the heel of his stick. Murphy back offensively now. He goes wide on Diakov. And Diakov up with it, plays it dangerously to the front of his own net. Kozov is after it. He gets closed off quickly by Kevin Waugh. Sutter in on the forecheck, and it's cleared out to center ice for Ceci. There for Canada. Now he has to chase it back into his own end. Ceci fakes the pass behind his own net and starts straight up the ice. Steered in, Makarov deflects to the corner. Sutter in after a loose puck. In case you're just joining us, Canada without Mark Scheifele, who was wearing an A in this game, kneeing major and game misconduct in the first period. Now another penalty coming to Russia as Canada jamming the crease in the Russian zone, and a hooking penalty coming. Canada on the power play when we come back. Fourth power play of the game for Canada as the Canadian squad with the opportunity now to tie this game.
We're going to try to find a way to get Ty Ratty involved in the power play. We saw him score that release. Find a way to get him in a spot where he can use that shot. It's been very quiet, except for the one time when he scored, of course, but when he gets the puck on his stick, good things happen.
So a different alignment now for Canada. Back in the opening period, Monahan has taken the place of Scheifele, although Monahan did see some power play time in the opening period, but at one time in the first period, it was 5 right-handed shots on the power play for Canada. Down the left side, carried in by Monahan. For Strome with Ratty. Strome trying to work it back. Ryan Murphy starts to creep in. Taken along the boards and cleared, but kept in. Dougie Hamilton to the front of the net looking for a tip. And it was deflected wide. Pass down low, Nesterov breaks that up. Can't clear though. Strome walks into the goal line for Ratty. He tried to drag it to the front. Dougie Hamilton down low as well. And Makarov hangs on to that.
We've seen that just off the side of the net. Player attacked the front of the net, and Ty Ratty had more time than he even realized. Plenty of time to pivot and not just shoot to the far side. He could actually take a step to the front of the net a little further. Dougie Hamilton doing the right thing, flowing down the ice, looking for that rebound. But that has been there all game, every game. Canada's yet to find a way to score off it, but that is available.
5 and a bit left in the second period. Morgan Rielly dishes the puck off. Shinkarik down to the goal line and back for Rielly. For Xavier Ouellet to the front of the net, and Makarov making sure there is no loose puck there for Hunter Shinkarik as he grabs it and hangs on. And lots of talk about the netminder Makarov as to how come he was not drafted. He was rated quite highly.
We know how much stock we put in the World Juniors and how guys play there. The performance he put on, 57 save, 1-0 shutout, 1-0 loss in the finals. He plays in Canada, playing for Saskatoon, so he's over there. It's not like he's locked into a Russian KHL contract. And he was the highest rated goalie for the WHL available in the draft. He went the entire draft undrafted. It makes you scratch your head.
His save percentage was .980 in the 3 games that he appeared in at the World Juniors. Bouncing puck, Canada having some difficulty controlling that rolling puck on this power play. And again, some pressure and a turnover. Score! Kapustin, short-handed, gets his second goal of the game, and it's 3-1. Slepyshev with the turnover.
Legacy just caught on a broken play, and you think he's going to have lots of time, but this is on Ryan Murphy, who is so great with the puck, and is just a little careless, a little soft with it in front of his net, and allows the forechecking pressure of Slepyshev to turn him over. Kapustin pounces on it, and Legacy still trying to get established, get square there, but Ryan Murphy has to be harder on that puck in front of his own net. He can't turn it over. Kapustin makes him pay for his second of the game. Actually, Legacy trying to get out, ends up going 5-hole. Bad turnover, good forecheck, and a shorthanded goal for Russia.
So a 3-1 score, 2 power play goals in the game now, or a power play goal and a shorthanded goal in this game for Russia. Canada's lone goal coming from Ty Ratty in a 4-on-4 situation. Morgan Rielly, the first-round pick of the Leafs out of Moose Jaw, plays it behind his own net, and Canada once again down by 2. To center and in for Leipzig. Doesn't get it deep, and Russia content to just play it off the boards. Russia far more aggressive on their forecheck today than what they were yesterday. Udon carries in with Morgan Rielly, but offside called at the Russian line.
You're exactly right. They've engaged more in the forecheck. They've been harder and faster to the pucks and haven't given Canada the easy exit out of their own end that they had in game number 1. And because of that, they've drawn more penalties, spent more time in the offensive zone, and gotten some very good opportunities. And Steve Spott knows it very well. If you give them good chances, they are talented enough, they will score, and they have tonight.
Morgan Rielly, another player who attended Notre Dame College in Wilcox, Saskatchewan, was captain of their TELUS Cup winning team. Back in for Sergeyev. And Russia quickly trying to get that out of the zone. Wilson stops it, puts it right back in, but right back out to center, right back in, but Makarov with the save, but it was offside as the Canadian players trapped inside the line as Harrington put it back in.
One thing to monitor as we watch this game progress. It's very warm. Yaroslavl right now is the middle of summer. The ice has been disintegrating as the games have gone on. Back-to-back games, full buildings, lots of noise, lots of heat. And watch how the ice starts to break down as this game goes on.
Harrington for Pelech. For Lesio. He'll drop for Strome. Strome will send it in. Lesio chases a loose puck down in there with Ratty. Russia controls and starts back with Nail Yakupov. He tried to find Grigorenko. That didn't work. Legacy will play it behind his own net, and Canada will regroup. Pelech watches Strome and leaves it for Strome. On the left side, that pass misses Ratty, and icing is going to be called against Canada. No, and we have a holding penalty.
I think that's going to be
yes.
the ice.
Yes.
Arms were just crossed there, and when Russia does get settled into their trap, they are efficient at slowing the Canadians down through the neutral zone, and a little bit lack of communication there between Ratty and Strome, and that's why Canada wants to try to move the puck quickly through the neutral zone. Don't let Russia get set up.
Quick shot right off the face-off. That's off the side of the net, as Romantsev let that one fly in a hurry. Pelech being chased there by Hamatov. Nice tight turn by Pelech. Now he gets double teamed between Hamatov and Romantsev. They jam it up in the corner, and the Russians come up with it. Hamatov to the front of the net. Romantsev couldn't get a stick on it. Kachev is on it. He's watched by Harrington. And the Canadians do come up with it, but again, lots of pressure and quick pressure coming from the Russian team.
It's a good strong stick by Harrington in front, as Kachev was going to try to tuck that in the empty net. He came over the top a little stronger, clearing the puck out of harm's way.
Hamatov to Romantsev, stopped at the line by Hamilton. Hamilton sends it into that left side. Di Giuseppe did not see the puck quick enough, or may have had some room down that left side. Philip Di Giuseppe in on that forecheck, ties his man up. That was Diakov. Cleared to center ice, and Canada now right back into the Russian zone. A minute and a half left in the second period, and Canada down by a couple. Prokhorkin tries to get out of his own zone. He is stopped on the far side by Philip Di Giuseppe, a pair of sevens. In behind the net, controlled by Udon. Sharp angle chance, save made. Di Giuseppe for Shinkarik. Di Giuseppe being watched by Hamatov. And on the backhand, Hamatov will just clear this back into the Canadian zone. Hamilton floats it through center ice. Picked off and cleared right back in by Prokhorkin. Hamilton will try it again. Makarov just lets this go, and back for it is the Los Angeles draft pick Prokhorkin. He'll leave behind his own net. Nestorov. Right side for Yarulin. Rink wide and back into the Canadian zone. Shot through some traffic, doesn't get through as Prokhorkin tried to let that go quickly. They tie it up in the corner. Centered. Kapustin looking for Slepyshev. And Slepyshev's shot did not get through. Late pressure here, and they say that went up into the netting as Riley gets added verbally with Prokhorkin.
Leipzig jumping right in there, but it was Leipzig jumping into that shot attempt from the high slot as he came in to help out his defenseman, darting in there, supporting from up top, trying to break up that play. It's a good read by Leipzig. Otherwise would have been a pretty good opportunity for a one-timer.
Dying seconds of period number 2. All the scoring in this second period. So just as we saw scoreless after one yesterday, we were scoreless after one today. Here's a chance in front as we were 3-1 after 40 minutes yesterday, and it appears we are going to be 3-1 after 40 minutes today, as we send you back to John Bartlett.
All right, thank you very much, Dennis. And an entertaining second period. And we'll get the story of Byron McCrimmon when our intermission is next. What a game for Kirill Kapustin. 2 goals, including a shorthanded marker, as Russia leads Canada 3-1 after 20 minutes of play, despite the fact that the Canadians outshot Russia 20-7 in that second period. Welcome back. Well, of course, as we said, there's an emotional tone to these games being played in Yaroslavl and a world connection through hockey. A Canadian connection as well. The head coach of the Locomotive team was Brad McCrimmon, someone who played over 1,200 games in the National Hockey League and spent 12 seasons as an assistant coach through 4 different organizations. He was a head coach of Locomotive, and now the story of his father Byron receiving the news that no father would ever want to hear.
We got back from the golf course. I tell you this, the last 6 or 7 holes I played in that game, like I wasn't in the game, and I actually told the other 3 guys I was golfing, I don't know what's going on, but I said, like, I'm just completely out of this, and that was when the accident happened.
When Byron McCrimmon returned to his hotel room in Scotland, where he was on vacation, there was a message from his son, Kelly. It was the worst news imaginable. Brad McCrimmon, Byron's eldest son, was dead, one of 44 people to perish when the plane carrying the KHL's Yaroslavl Lokomotiv crashed on takeoff.
There's sort of a standing joke in Russia about airplanes, and I just sort of felt like charters should be different, and I never give it, none of us give it a thought. Like, it just, we joked about it, but it just didn't seem like that could happen.
Growing up on a farm in Saskatchewan, Byron could tell his son would play in the NHL one day. He had the passion. And sure enough, McCrimmon, a hard-nosed defenseman, played 18 NHL seasons. Then came coaching. McCrimmon was an assistant with 4 teams before parting ways with the Red Wings in 2011. A couple weeks after leaving Detroit, he took the Lokomotiv job.
Well, I knew his passion was to coach, and he got a chance to be a head coach, and that's what he wanted, to prove that he was capable to be an NHL head coach.
When Hockey Canada invited Byron to join the country's junior team in Yaroslavl, he accepted, knowing it would be difficult. But this was a trip he needed to take.
I wanted to come and see for myself where Brad came to, and he was so happy here because we talked on FaceTime every day, and he was happy. It was what he was doing. It's just terrible misfortune what happened. And I guess I sort of wanted closure.
He visited the crash site on the banks of the Volga River, took a tour of the cemetery where 14 members of the Lokomotiv organization are buried, attended a memorial outside the arena, and visited with the people who knew his son best in the city.
Yesterday, I went through the whole rink completely with 2 and 3 people. And while I was going through the rink, the lady took me to, they have a museum in that part of the rink. And she was showing that, and she said, I gotta go get you something. She'd come back and she'd give me this. This is Brad's whistle that she found at the river.
Byron plans on giving the whistle to Brad's 15-year-old son Liam, but the whistle was not the only surprise during his journey.
There's 2 trophy cases down there. There's a cup in the end of the right-hand one that when we went by there, this one guy was with us yesterday, he said, that's Brad's cup. And I wasn't sure I heard what he said was right. So I went and looked at the date on it, and it was dated in August of last year. Well, they have a pre-season tournament that they happen to win. And he said that cup stays there permanently. It's not going anywhere. They're going to do a replica, but they're keeping the original there.
Everywhere he goes in Yaroslavl, Byron has been welcomed with open arms.
They're really happy that I came. They every one of them telling me that they're very honored that I came, and Brad was a special person. And they all liked him.
Byron used to speak to Brad every morning, and he still does. He speaks to a picture of his son, and he knows the pain will never go away. A parent never gets over the loss of a child. But after traveling halfway around the world and shedding many tears, Byron is secure in the knowledge his son's legacy is in good hands.
He was just a down-to-earth person. The trainers were important to him as the stars, and he treated everybody equal. Yesterday when we did an interview, Teague was with me, and the girl came over afterwards. She said how much she liked our son, and she said one thing we noticed here, it was in the bowling alley where they eat. When they came and ate with the players and everything, how he would sit with every player and talk and just have fun like we all do here. And she said that doesn't happen in Russia. So that sort of tells you that's the way he was. he was just good to everybody.
Well, Brad McCrimmon was certainly loved across the hockey world and known by many people, including yourself, Craig.
Yeah, you know, when you hear Byron talk about him being good people, he was special. And I don't care who you are, if you came across Brad McCrimmon, whether you're a player, you're a trainer, you're a manager, or you're a friend, Brad left an indelible imprint on you. And his passion and his caring for other people, you know, was, you know, had no equal. I shouldn't say had no equal. It didn't have anybody that was better than him. And I think what Brad, you hear him talk, I heard him talk a lot about wanting to be a head coach. And he wasn't afraid to take a risk by going over to Russia. He didn't see it as a risk. Talked to a lot of people. He knew a lot of people. And he felt that it was something that was going to really help him get back into the NHL as a head coach. And one of the smartest people I was ever around. I learned from him every day. And, you know, you talk about his mother, Faye, his wife, Maureen, and his daughter, Carlin. I mean, it's just such a tragic loss because it's something you just can't spend the time with him. But, you know, what he left us will never be forgotten.
No, that's for sure. And Byron watching Team Canada today in Yaroslavl as well, sitting beside Bob Nicholson. And no doubt, Brad watching over Byron as well. After 4 straight years being in North America, the World Junior Championships will head back to Europe the next 2 years. And of course, it kicks off in Russia this December with the 2013 World Junior Hockey Championships. Ty Ratty, the goal scorer for Canada in this game, and he is standing by with our own Mark Masters.
Ty, Coach Spott's timeout early in the second seemed to settle you down. What did he say?
It was simple, we're not playing our game. I think we got away from our game plan, and after that timeout, we got back at it. We got a quick goal, but this third period's big for us, and I think we're coming strong.
Discipline was a major theme from Coach Spott before the game. Any sense of what happened out there? A lot of penalties.
Yeah, that's our low point right now. Is we're taking a lot of penalties, and the Russians, they're a good power play. It's obvious, and it's killing us right now, and that's something that's got to change.
Take us through your goal.
Monty Monahan made a great play, just a drop pass and just a shot, low blocker, and luckily it went in. So a couple more of those, and we'll be in good shape.
Thanks, Ty.
Thank you.
Well, the mirror opposite today as of yesterday's game. It is Canada trailing by 2 heading into the third period. What are they going to have to do to try and rally back in this one?
It's real simple. They got to stay out of the penalty box. Forget about killing the penalty. They're taxing too few players. And when you keep players on the bench, you don't get into your rhythm and you can't sustain pressure and put the puck in the offensive zone, which is exactly what Steve Spott wants his players to do. You can't do it if you're taking that many penalties.
Ty Ratty has the only goal for Canada in this game as the St. Louis Blues pick had a beauty, but it's Canada trailing by 2, heading to the third. We have yet to see a 5-on-5 goal in this game. Russia with 2 power play markers and a shorthanded goal. Canada's goal coming in 4-on-4 hockey. Third period action now. Here's Dennis Bayak and Mike Johnson.
Canada down by a couple. Yesterday they led by a couple going into the third, so a bit of a different game plan between periods 2 and 3 for the coaching staff.
Hey, you heard Craig Button touch on it between periods. They have to find a way to play the third period. 5-on-5, engage their forecheck, and start rolling their lines over. They haven't been able to sustain shift after shift of pressure, and that's when Canada's at their best. When they're coming at you in waves, we haven't seen that through 2 periods. They'll need to do it here in the third.
Games 3 and 4 of the series in Halifax Monday and Tuesday. Canada to the attack quickly here in the third, but offside is called.
That's okay with Russia. The more whistles, the better. They don't mind this period starting out choppy, not getting a lot of flow to it. They're the ones with a 3-1 lead. They just want to make sure to make Canada earn everything they're going to get.
Sergeyev keeping an eye on Kevin Waugh. Sergeyev, one of the 3 Tampa players on this Russian team. He signed as a free agent with the Lightning. Cleared down into the center ice area. Nikita Nesterov is the other forward, and of course we talked about this yesterday, netminder Andrei Vasilevsky, a Tampa draft pick. 3-1 Russia. Yarulin. Lead pass, Zlobin, who opened the scoring in this game. Tried that snapshot looking for that far side. It ricochets wide. Caroms around, then Russia will regroup. Grigorenko stopped just outside the Canadian line. Ryan Strome in on the forecheck. Now he'll turn. Nesterov for Prokhorkin. trying to bust his way through. The shot goes off Morgan Riley, sticking high. Kapustin with 2 goals in the game. Goes after a loose puck. Comes outside the line. Kapustin still battling for it. And Russia will carry back in. Slepyshev. Nice little spin around by Prohorkin, and he tries to go short side. And good save there by Legacy.
That really has been the story for Russia. Much better pressure. That was back pressure through the neutral zone by Slepyshev to turn it over. Gets it to Prohorkin. And a nice little individual move, but their checking has been so much more diligent, allowed them to play with a puck, as opposed to game 1 where Canada had the puck most of the game.
Legacy shutting the door on the short side. Laurent Brossoit, the backup netminder for Canada today, and will start game 3 in this challenge. That, of course, will go Monday in Halifax, and then the coaching staff, along with Ron Tugnut, who looks after the goaltending side of things for Team Canada, they will make a decision as to who will start the 4th game of that series. Canada down by 2. Some room on the left side as they come to the attack. And a wraparound try for Lesio. And Makarov got the pad down and stopped that. Cleared back in. Dougie Hamilton back forward to the backboards. Getting there first, Shalunov. Plays it down low for Sigarev. Sigarev twisting and turning, trying to get away from Xavier Ouellette. Ouellette comes up with the puck, plays it around the boards, but it doesn't get out of the Canadian zone on the first try, will on the second. And back for it will be Sergeyev. Marks in behind Makarov. Takes a look, his pass intercepted though by Leipzig. Leipzig for Wilson, gets away from him, and a little bit of skating room through center ice and dumped in by Kachev. Ceci waiting for it on the far side, jams it out at center for Wilson. Wilson will carry in with Leipzig and Sutter. Wilson to the far side for Sutter. Sutter trying to get away from Nestorov, plays it to the corner. Big hit there. Is this line a physical line for Canada? Dropped off by Yarulin. That quick shot doesn't get through as Andre Pedan joined the rush from the defensive position.
Steve Spott talked about this line being responsible on the offense, not giving up other chances. They look for big hits, does Wilson and Leipzig. They can find themselves in trouble.
Wrist shot by Strome, stopped there by Makarov, and here comes Grigorenko. Grigorenko drops it into the high slot. Yakupov and Legacy waits him out, makes the save on the short side. Boy, we've seen some great plays between Grigorenko and Yakupov. Zlobin, he'll fire that shot, and that goes off Harrington and wide. Harrington after it in the corner. Yakupov is on the loose puck to Grigorenko. Wrist shot, that goes high. Kevin Waugh on the far side. Coach Spott talking about watching Kevin Waugh today. Says he has never seen him play, so he was looking to see what this youngster brings. Grigorenko tries to work it free in the corner. Pass is turned over, and Tyrati will get it out the center ice, and Hunter Shinkarik will get it down into the Russian zone. And back for it is Osipov. He'll play it for Diakov. Some room down the left side to the Canadian line, and no further as Kapustin got stopped there by Dougie Hamilton. Prokhorkin bounces it in, and that'll be grabbed and held by Legacy.
You see a good opportunity for Yakupov, and this is where you see what sets him apart. That's against Scott Harrington, one of the premier shutdown defensemen this age, and he dances around him like he's standing still. Can't outweight Legacy, who stretches out and gets across and makes the angle impossible for Yakupov to finish.
Power play goal for Yakupov yesterday in the game, a two-man advantage situation for Russia. He had 12 power play goals for Sarnia. Slepyshev. So he does love the man advantage situation. Slepyshev back for Nemenkov. To the Canadian line, no further. Quickly back up ice. Lesio tried to get it for Udon. The pass was blocked. Lesio stays with it. Watched there by Sergeyev. Tight turn by Lucas Lesio. Trying to find some room. Close quarters in the Russian end of the ice. Lesio. Prokhorkin. Sergeyev, it comes loose in the slot. Udon shot, and that got blocked before it got to Makarov. To the backhand, Kozov lets the shot go, and that goes off the arm and high. Scotty Hamilton after it. Kozov gets there first on the backhand into the slot, and the shot by Shalunov, and a save by Legacy.
Chances at both ends. Legacy been busy. Russia doing a nice job exposing that high slot. Horkin being able to get that one out to Shalunov. Horkin down in front of the net. Legacy holds the rebound. And just prior to that, what a desperation block by Namenkov after a turnover.
It looked like that one may have hurt. Out to center. Don't tell these players this is just a fun summer tournament. Shalunov lets the quick shot go. That sailed wide. Shalunov really brings a North American style to this Russian team and has the size to do it. 6'3", just under 200 pounds. Morgan Riley, nice feed up the middle. Creates an opportunity for Canada. Back to the line. Kevin Waugh watches this sail to the far side. Wilson is there, plays it back for Waugh. Waugh will let it come to the near corner. Sutter is after it. They try to get a cycle going. Wilson gets ridden out there by Diakov. Gets the puck to Sutter. In front of the net for Waugh. And a good defensive play there as Sigarov came back to knock that pass away. Great setup though. Here comes Sutter again. Score! Morgan Riley with the redirect, and Canada pulls to within one.
That is how you take advantage of a tired group. Quick counterattack. Morgan Riley takes it upon himself to turn the puck up quickly and doesn't lay back after he drops it over to Luke Sutter. He keeps going to the far post like a forward would, like he should, wanting that puck. You saw him get a little beaver tail, slapping his stick on the ice that he wanted it. And a nice feed from Luke Sutter here. You got to put a lot on that puck to get it across the poke check of Makarov, and he does for an easy tap in. Morgan Riley gets inside position, keeps his speed going to the far post for the tap in. Nice play by Riley. Great pass by Sutter.
Diakov just could not recover to prevent Morgan Riley from getting to the net for that tip in, and we've got a one-goal game. So now Russia will perhaps try and tighten things up a little bit more. Romantsov in on the forward check, but it's ahead for Ryan Strome. Right side for Ratty. Ratty trying to bust his way through, could not. And we get a stoppage in play on the offside. It's a one-goal game in Yaroslavl. One-goal game here in the third period. Not dressed for Canada today. Malcolm Subban, who was so good yesterday, got the cape that Team Canada presents at the end of every game. Schlobin, touch on the other players not dressed in this game in a second. Ryan Murray was the player of the game, and then inside the Canadian dressing room, that honor went to Malcolm Subban, who was so good, especially in the third period when he had to make 4 or 5 real big saves. Nail Yakupov, he can fly, and here he comes. Quickly shut off by Monahan and company at the line, and still almost found a way to get through. Canada down by 1, right back into the Russian zone. To the front of the net goes Udon along with Monahan, and into the glove of Makarov, and he hangs onto it.
That's the right idea though by both Di Giuseppe and Monahan. Get to the front of the net, draw the traffic down there, get around Makarov, make him think about something, and then just put pucks there. Put pucks onto his pads, put pucks through the air, through the crease, and good things will happen. Ooh. Quick shot
right off the face-off, and Makarov will hang on to that. Matthew Dumba not dressed for Canada today. Griffin Reinhardt shaken up in the game yesterday, is listed as day-to-day. Jonathan Huberdeau, Boone Jenner, Ryan Murray, the other Canadians not dressed, and they lost Mark Scheifele in the first period, a kneeing major and a game misconduct for Mark Scheifele. Room on the right side, Kapustin, he has 2 in the game. He gets knocked down before he could drive it to the net. And right back for Canada. It is Udon heading to the front of the net. Puck comes loose, grabbed off and kept in by Dougie Hamilton. He lets the wrist shot go on Andrei Makarov. calmly takes that off the chest and hangs on.
It's great listening to the sounds coming from the Canadian bench. You could hear their entire bench yelling 4-4 because there's a 4-on-3, and then you could hear the disgust of Steve Spott as nobody was driving the center lane. You had 3 guys looking for shots and one-timers. You have to have someone drive the center lane, open up the seams. That will open up the one-timers for the trailer.
Cody Ceci at the right point. He can really fire it. Taken by the Ottawa Senators, and Senators GM Brian Murray was shocked that he was available when they picked at 15. Face off in the Russian end of the ice. Canada looking to try and find some offense to tie this game. It is Leipzig in for Wilson. Wilson on the backhand couldn't get it through. Morgan Riley sends it deep. Sergeyev gets bumped. And it's cleared up by Sigarev. Sigarev gets ridden into the sideboards by Leipzig. Back for Kozov. Drops. Shot, score! Shalunov took the pass that ricocheted, and Russia has the 2-goal lead back.
That looked like it was going to be a broken play from the get-go, but tremendous job by Shalunov and Kosov handling some very hard passes on backhands, and then that's a rolling puck. And when you take a snapshot on a rolling puck, for whatever reason, goalies cannot pick it up as easily as they can when it's sliding flat, and it also gets up a little quicker than normal, and that one just zips by Legacy. Love side, and a very good shot from Shalunov, but maybe a better pickup on the backhand for the quick handle.
Nice feed by Kozov, the quick return pass. So 4-2 Russia. Another shot. Legacy has this one get away from him, and a chance on the backhand that came through the blue paint but didn't find the 6x4.
Amatov with an empty netter. He's got his toe pick that went in. Legacy had no idea where it was.
Hamatov would love to get on the board. He's from Ufa, where the World Championships will be played come Christmas time. So Dougie Hamilton plays this in behind the net. Kevin Waugh trying to center it. That gets picked off and cleared. And Russia perhaps back into a bit of a shell now where they just want to get that puck out of their own zone. Ryan Murphy, he has some offensive skills. He tries to dance his way around Nesterov and cannot. As Nesterov, never mind the puck, he just stands Ryan Murphy up.
Ryan Murphy can be the one-man trap breaker, though, on his own up the middle. I think Nesterov, when he stepped into him there, caught his chin with his helmet. And so a good no call by the referees.
Monahan drop pass. Murphy plays it on the left side, deflected in. After it goes Philip Di Giuseppe. Plays this in behind the net. Battle for a loose puck. Shinkarik puts it into the paint. Monahan now the high forward, kept in at the line by Pelech. Adam Pelech, 17 years of age, trying to get this back down low, and that gets blocked.
Now Yakupov has a couple of good chances here, and there you see the Hamatov one off the inside of the right foot of Legacy, out the back door, and Hamatov's got all kinds. It's a tight angle for sure. He pulls it all the way out the far side. Not enough room or time to pull it back to his forehand. He would have been covered, but that's one as a forward. You think every time you get that shot, it should go in.
There's Vladimir Kachev again. He was the one that spun that to the front of the net, giving Legacy all sorts of difficulty.
Tremendous skater Kachev is, and Canada will certainly know that heading into Game 3 and be aware and respect his speed.
Pelech slaps this in. That sails off a stick and high. Under 9 to go, and after Morgan Riley got Canada to within 1, Shalunov gets the goal back for Russia, and they have the 2-goal lead. Nesterov chased back in behind his own net, and he'll just park there, and that will allow the Russians to totally complete their line change. Canada making a change as well, and here comes Nesterov. Left side pass that almost gets picked off at center ice as Philip Deneau tried to intercept that and turn it up ice quickly, but now play whistled down.
And it's getting to that point of the game where the coaches on the Canadian bench will start encouraging their defensemen to activate, jump up in the rush, hold the blue line, support the cycles, cheat a little bit out of the normal game plan to create offense. 8 minutes left, need 2 to tie. Time to start engaging their defensemen.
Shot, that's kicked away by Makarov. I'm sure the Detroit Red Wings would be happy to hear what Steve Spott had to say about Ouellette. Felt that the Red Wings got a steal in the draft by selecting him. Ceci off the right side boards. Cody Ceci throws it to the front of the net. Makarov steers it away and quickly up at center. Shalunov. And he'll slow it down and spin back through center ice. But then he turns it over. The neutral ice turnover by Shalunov. Back in Tyrati in a foot race there with Osipov. And Osipov will send it back into the Canadian end of the ice. This is icing. And it is a 2-goal lead for Russia. Others scramble off a shot from the line, and Makarov hangs on to this. Deneau has done very well in the face-off department today.
Showing his versatility. Played wing in the first game, playing a little bit center here, especially with Mark Scheifele being thrown out. And at some point in this game, Canada's got to get a goal in the face-off. They are snapping them back like it's practice time in the offensive zone, and Russia's got to find a way to dig in. When you're getting eaten alive in the draw, I know it very well, it's a bad feeling. You have to find a way to tie. It's not about winning, it's just about not letting it go that quickly. So whether you got to dive in, don't even look for the puck, grab the guy's stick, whatever it might be, he just can't continue to snap them back.
Chicago very high on Philip Deneau. Played 7 games for their farm team in Rockford at the end of last season. Cody Ceci down low for Lesio. Lesio tried to chip it for Udon, and that is picked off by Sergeyev, and Artem Sergeyev will get it to the line but not out. Kept in. Deneau battling for it, now knocked away from him by Hamatov, and back into the Canadian zone it goes. Ceci will start the attack. Sure, the Canadian bench keeping an eye on the clock as they're down by a couple. Each team with a goal here in the third period. Ceci with Lesio. Lesio chases it with Nestorov behind the net. Nestorov gets a little bit of help on the play from Padan, and it's cleared down into the Canadian end of the ice.
This can only be a penalty, I would imagine. Canada in full control. And it will be Philip Deneau heading to the box. And how many penalties have we seen Canada take in the neutral zone and the offensive zone in non-desperation situations? The kind of penalties that coaches always are reminding you not to take. Philip Deneau is probably the 4th or 5th one we've seen in the offensive zone in 2 games.
Discipline was a concern for the coach after the first game, and I would think the discipline is
more so. Even more so, and I mean, Steve Spott talked about puck discipline, but this is just about stick discipline, body positioning, and not only do they give Russia a power play where they have a chance to score, but it's 2 more minutes off the clock with only 7 minutes to go.
6th power play of the game for Russia. Monahan dumped as he gets inside the Russian line, and we may see Canada be somewhat aggressive here on the penalty kill. Russia with a shorthanded goal in this game, and Canada could certainly use one to pull to within 1. Nail Yakupov, cut off there by young Monahan. Yakupov will look for some open ice, dish it off to Zlobin. He'll find some room on that right side, taken out of the play by Pelech. Back for Yakupov, he falls. Nice read there by the defenseman Pelech, and it's cleared into the center ice area. Zlobin after the loose puck.
You saw just that. When that puck turned over, Sutter was gone up the middle, even though the puck was still deep in his end, looking to try to create a rush.
Grigorenko with some room. He tried a cross-ice pass. It was blocked. Ceci got in the way of that. Controlled. Grigorenko, another shot. Rebound! And that went off of Legacy and just wide. Yakupov. Nemenkov waiting on the near side. Nestorov elects to send it back down low to Grigorenko. Grigorenko tried to get it to Zlobin. Picked off, though, and cleared down the ice. Makarov, who has been solid in goal for Russia, especially in the second period when he was forced to make a number of big saves. Dying seconds of the power play. Sergeyev, quick up. That creates an opportunity for Slepyshev. Tries to jam it in short side. And down and making the save is Legacy. And now Kapustin and Prokhorkin in a little pushy mash in front of the net with Roulette.
Just setting the table for next game, and this chance by Slepyshev, because Morgan Riley's thinking offense while shorthanded, allowing the puck to come in behind him. A quick break, 2-on-1. And those are the chances that Canada is going to have to live with for the remainder of this game as they try to create offense.
Game 3 Monday, Game 4 Tuesday. Go to the Hockey Canada website for ticket information. Prokhorkin out to take the face-off. Cleared to the line, kept in by Nesterov. To the front of the net is Kapustin. They bang it in. Is that Kapustin who gets the hat-trick goal?
I think it is Kapustin. And I guess that's how you make your opponent pay. He took the knee-on-knee hit from Scheifele in the first period. Scheifele with a 5 out of the game. And here is Kapustin in the third with his third to give Russia a 3-goal lead. And good keep by Nesterov again. All the Canadians thinking offense the wrong way. And I think that's actually Monahan who kicks that in as he's trying to come back to get the puck. Nice play by Legacy to get the stick out there. Makes the save, knocks it away from Kapustin. And then Monahan skating into the play. Puck just bounces off him out of the air, and Legacy has no shot as it dribbles 5-hole. But Kapustin will take it. 3 for him.
And it will be a special day for Kirill Kapustin. He is from Yaroslavl and playing in front of his hometown fans. And we talked about the emotion of this 4-game set, especially the 2 games in Yaroslavl for the 3 players on the Russian team that are from Yaroslavl, Kapustin being one of them. And he completes the hat trick with a goal here in the third period. Canada on the attack, down by 3. Slap shot through traffic and picking cherries now for Makarov. He made that one look easy on the long shot from Murphy, and he hangs on.
And he really has been solid in this game. Not only making the initial save, but calming presence in the crease, controlling his rebounds, and Canada's going to have offensive zone time. They're going to throw junk to the net from angles. If he can control those pucks, get whistles, I'll just slow everything down, keep the composure of his defenseman.
Another face-off win for Canada, but the puck makes its way back into the neutral zone, and Cody Ceci will backtrack. Out at center, Ty Ratty, who got the first Canadian goal. Morgan Riley has the other in front of the net, off the goalpost, at the side of the net, score! Canada pulling back to within 2. Ryan Strome may have been the Canadian player to bang that in after it seemed to deflect off of Makarov and then off the post.
Ty Ratty creates it. Little stop up, and Strome, who gets lost behind the net. He sits in behind the net, the defenseman loses track of him, then he pops out on the far side, and a good pass, nice vision from Ratty, snaps it across, and he fights to get a piece of it just enough off the post, off Makarov's stick, and dribbles across the line. Nice offensive play by Ty Ratty, buying time and finding Strome on the back door.
5-3 with just under 4 left to go in the game. Kapustin with the hat trick for Russia. Off the sideboards, grabbed off by Nesterov. Looks for that long lead pass for Grigorenko. He looks for Zlobin in front. Zlobin works it out of the corner, sends it back to the line. Good stick there by Shinkarik to deflect that back out of harm's way. Cleared back, and Pelech will go back. Banks it off the backboards as they play give and go. Shot from a sharp angle, stopped easily by Legacy as Zlobin let that one go. Grigorenko's after it, cleared away from him. And now did this leave the playing surface?
I think it caught the inside of the stanchion by the benches. Canada now, Monahan still, that edge is not quite right.
Back to the drawing board.
Yell for the trainer, gonna take that off and get it sharpened up. Especially as the ice starts to disintegrate, it becomes even harder to maintain your edges, and it looks like probably Sean Monahan will be done for the night.
Ryan Murphy snaps it up the middle. Chance, and a good save on the short side. Is what a pass to
to spring Udon. Ryan Murphy down low, watched by Prokhorkin. Still has the puck, tries to get it to the backhand out front. That gets blocked, and Slepyshev is on it. Left side, Kapustin. 3 on the game. He tried to get it back for Slepyshev. Back in front, Kapustin with the redirect. And that's steered away by Legacy. 2.5 to go. Canada down by a couple. Lesio trying to go wide. He gets forced out. And it's taken by Russia. And Andre Padan will send it out of harm's way. Back for Ryan Strome. Strome takes it wide, tries to center against the checking of Yarulin. Centered out front and grabbed off by Shalunov. He'll carry it the empty net and puts it into the empty net as Canada pulling Legacy for the extra attacker. And Shalunov will get the goal that will probably seal this game for Russia.
Good patience by Shalunov as he recognized the goaltender out. He actually double clutched it. He's looking to pass this puck up the middle, would have put it right into the on-rushing Canadian defender for a rush heading the other way, but able to skate by Dougie Hamilton and no mistake on the empty net. And Russia, who was much better in this game, looks like they will get a well-deserved win as they are up their level, and Canada will have to do the same when they head back to Halifax.
Steve Spott talked about the size of some of the Russian forwards, and certainly Shalunov is one of them, 6'3", Kozov 6'3", 220 pounds. You've got Grigorenko, who's 6'3", 185. So there is some size up front for this Russian team. Now the question, I guess, is what chance do they have of having Yakupov and Grigorenko for that World Championships?
Grigorenko, after watching him play through 2 games, I think it's pretty good he's going to be on the Russian junior team. I don't see him making Buffalo if he wants to play at the pace he's played at in these 2 games. You love the hands, you love the vision, you don't love the pace. You can't play slow all the time in the NHL nowadays. He's got to get a little faster, but Yakupov, highly unlikely that he'll be released from the Edmonton Oilers and available to the Russian junior team.
Domenkov, some skating room, sails it in on Legacy. Legacy will snare it. He will drop it there. Roulette has this bounce away from him. Sigarev, watched by Xavier Roulette. Sigarev jams it to the front of the net, deflected away. Kachev is after it. Kachev takes a bump there from Udon. Deneau going after a loose puck, can't catch up to it. And on a second try, Deneau will come up with it. And the Canadians will get this safely out of their own zone. Dying seconds of game 2 in Yaroslavl. Chance on the right side for Hamatov, and Legacy the save, and then it's jammed away. Some speed down the right side as Lesio on the attack, pulls it back, tries the wrist shot, and that got blocked by Nemenkov. And a sold-out crowd in Yaroslavl loving it.
And I think it's the end of the second game, the last game in Yaroslavl. And you want to take a moment to enjoy the atmosphere and listen to these fans who love hockey. It's been a long time since this building has been filled with happy fans, joyous fans, and it's been nice for 2 games to have them cheering about hockey.
The fans in Yaroslavl very much understood what this tournament meant to the city. So in the far side, controlled in the Russian zone. Monahan works it out front. Makarov down, shot never did get through. Cleared off the boards by Zlobin. And after it will go Yakupov, cleared away by Legacy. And this one comes to an end. 6-3, the final for Russia. Canada got to within 1 in the 3rd period. Morgan Riley made it 3-2. But after that, all the offense came from Russia. As we send you back to John Bartlett and Craig Button.
Well, thank you very much, Dennis. And what a response by Russia in this game. And Kirill Kapustin, what a game for him. A hat trick for Team Russia as well, as the series is now deadlocked at a game apiece, heading back to Halifax for the 2 games in Canada. But a big response by Russia here today.
Yeah, it was a huge response by them. And they built on their play from game one. They were big, they were heavy. Steve Spott said they really made life difficult on the defensemen. They had a lot of turnovers, but Canada was really chippy, and I think getting on the wrong side of the puck, reaching in with sticks, but also being a little bit frustrated, because when players are bearing down on you and they're frustrating you and they're heavy and they're weighty, becomes an exercise in futility, because you feel like you're slogging along and you can't gain any traction, you can't gain any ice. And the Russians were very effective at that, and they put the Canadians into some difficulty with all those penalties.
Well, Steve Spott did say before the game maybe fatigue could be a little bit of factor with the travel and the time change catching up to them, but it is Russia that comes up with a big victory here today. Kirill Kapustin, the hat trick, with the series tied at 1. Well, they're in a jubilant mood in Yaroslavl today as Russia evens the series with a victory over Canada, and now they'll bring it back to Halifax 6-3, the final in this one. And welcome back as Team Russia responds to this game, Craig Button. But when we look early on in this game, it was a hit by Mark Scheifele that actually got things going for Team Russia, as it was Kirill Kapustin that he laid the knee out on, and Kapustin would have the big game.
Yeah, and as Mike Johnson pointed out, they're very strict on these types of penalties and just trying to finish his check, but they call it. Ryan Murphy here, confident with the puck, but Anton Shlepyshev putting pressure on him. And I love Ryan Murphy, but if there's one thing that Ryan Murphy needs to do is recognize sometimes that he's against a quicker, faster player and get that puck out of danger's way. He did on that play. But then you look at Lucas Sutter here, Morgan Riley trying to initiate offensive play. What a beautiful pass by Lucas Sutter. Morgan Riley jumping into the attack. But John, it just seemed that the Russians had every answer, whatever response Canada was going to give.
The Russians 3 for 6 on the power play in this game today. They outshot Canada 14-11 in the third period. Canada outshooting Russia 39-26 in the game, though.
And it was, and Kirill Kapustin with a really good game, 3 goals, jumping into the play there. But the Russians, to me, really asserted themselves with their physical play. That seems like a reversal. That's usually Canadian hockey, and I think as they go into Halifax on the smaller rinks, there's going to be even more opportunity for physical play. Canada's going to have to get involved in that area of the game, because I thought the Russians in Game 2 were clearly superior in that area.
Well, we certainly did see the physical feistiness in the game as well. Canada has a little bit of travel ahead of them now as they have to bus for a few hours off to Moscow, and then a flight that's going to go through London before they finally make their way back to Halifax.
Yeah, I would imagine there'll be a lot of sleeping on the plane into Halifax, get in there on Sunday or Saturday afternoon, and then get skating on Sunday again. But I think with a 1-1 series going back to Halifax, the energy is flowing, and hey, listen, we got a series here.
Monday and Tuesday night are the next 2 games in this series. You can see them live on TSN, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We will be on the air. And don't forget, tickets still available at hockeycanada.ca if you're in Halifax or out in the Maritimes and want to see the game in person. Should be an outstanding Game 3 and 4. The physical response was from Russia, so was the offensive response, as a hat trick by Kirill Kapustin launches Russia to a 6-3 win. This has been a presentation of TSN, Canada's sports leader. See you Monday in Halifax.